Today, we're going to talk about what is the fuss to do with Nvidia. They released their earnings last night and it was a blockbuster, but what are the repercussions of that earnings report? And then for the trading takeout, we're going to be looking at how to really understand concepts nice and quickly in financial markets. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to ensure I pop up in your YouTube feed every day, giving you the best market commentary and tips so that you can improve your trading edge. So Nvidia released their earnings last night and it was an absolute blockbuster. The Q4 numbers were adjusted earnings per share was $5.16 with the expectation of $4.64, revenue at $22.1 billion for the quarter, while the expected was $20.62 billion. And they are expecting Q1 revenue to be $24 billion. Plus or minus 2%, the expectation of 21.9 billion. So it's really, really quite the story that has come out here. Now, the biggest thing that I would say is the problem with companies doing an absolutely mammoth earnings report is that they then have to sustain that for the share price to be upheld and supported, because as we know, markets are forward-looking. They base everything on deviation from expectations. So now the expectation is even higher than last quarter for the next earnings report. So what's going to happen if it misses? It's going to show that there's a different trajectory going on for the share price and for the company. So this is the one thing with really, really massive earnings reports. You know, it just creates a kind of anxiety is maybe a good word for it, because what we are then looking at is it going to miss or is it going to beat, and how strongly can the beat be as well, considering this beat was so strong. It was about 10% above. So that is the main thing. But I think the key thing is that AI is being grown at such a rapid pace. I think OpenAI just released their Sora, which is text to video. I had a look at it and it literally looks like a film. It looks like, you know, someone has just done the most amazing CGI. There was a text prompt that said, create a video of a motorcyclist on the moon with a spaceship wearing a knitted hat, and it looked real life. It looked exactly real life, as if what's his name, Spielberg or, you know, James Cameron had created the film and done all the CGI and that kind of thing. It was amazing. So it's really, really going at a fast pace. And obviously for AI to continue at that fast pace, it's going to need more chips. And Nvidia is, you know, at the top of that. And I guess, you know, we're also hearing things about Bitcoin mining coming back online in a big, big way. And naturally, you know, Bitcoin miners need a hell of a lot of processing power via graphics cards and things like that. So the GPU requirements of all of these things coming together at the same time is huge. Now, there are, of course, you know, other firms that are sort of in the shadows here. So you've got ASML, which is a European company that makes very specialist chips, actually. You've obviously got the is it SMCI? I think it's SMCI. And then you've got AMD and the others as well. So there's a couple, but Nvidia right now are the ones really, really pumping it. And they're actually at one of the best valuations. AMD is at about 350 price to earnings, while Nvidia is at about 95 or 100. I'd say maybe a little bit more now. So, you know, the sector is really, really heated, which is a good thing, though, from a trading perspective. There's momentum. Now, for the overall market, what does this mean? Well, I think it is relatively easy to see what it means if I just go to futures. So we can see here, you know, how the market has behaved since then. It's just gone pretty much parabolically up. We were trading sub 5K. Now we're trading above 5K, above the 7 daily moving average. This is the weekly VWAP. So the volume weighted average price, and you can see sort of what happens at VWAPs is price tends to congregate and then find a way to go, because that's where it is cheapest to enter according to liquidity. which is what the big boys are looking for always. So it's important to note this trend now. I think there will be people thinking this is still overheated, but from my perspective, equities in this current market are very, very favorable still. I'm not saying to buy. I'm just saying they're favorable. And I think sellers are still getting punished. You know, all of this was shaving off of moves going into the Nvidia move. And I don't necessarily see any reason as to why there would be any real hold up here to tick back downwards. You know, the momentum is to the upside. And that, as traders, is always what we're looking for. How did I learn all the stuff that I do relatively quickly over the years? Well, it all comes down to being systematic with how you read and consume your content. What I used to do in the early days is I used to go onto CNBC, Bloomberg, the FT, whatever, and I would read the articles of things that were totally out of my, I guess, knowledge base. I would then note down the words that I didn't understand, and I would then Google them in another tab. I would then click the news and then understand that term in context. Until in that article, I would reach another word that I didn't understand and just keep doing the same thing. Over time, this is how you start to put the pieces together. The pieces align the more that you consume things. And especially important here is consuming them in the right context, in frames which you also understand.